lançado recentemente nos Estados Unidos. O documentário, Deixando Neverland, traz o depoimento de dois homens que dizem ter sofrido abuso sexual por Michael Jackson quando eram pequenos. Os dois rapazes deram detalhes chocantes sobre os centenas de abusos que teriam sofrido quando tinham entre 7 e 10 anos. As denúncias afetaram fortemente a reputação do artista, que já era problemática. As estações de rádio pararam de tocar suas músicas, seus fãs estão publicamente deletando músicas de seus celulares, e a discussão sobre predadores que se escondem por trás do sucesso na indústria do entretenimento ressurgiu na mídia. O documentário de 4 horas gira em torno de eventos que, segundo as vítimas, aconteceram no Rancho Neverland, uma referência à Terra do Nunca, local fictício das histórias de Peter Pan. O filme conta a história dos supostos abusos de dois garotos pelo artista. Eles deram descrições perturbadoras e contaram como o artista os envolveu em uma manipulação emocional para ter relações sexuais com eles durante anos.
Michael just sort of starting to touch my legs and touch my crotch over my pants. It progressed to him performing oral sex on me, him showing me how to perform oral sex on him.
Did it scare you? Did you think it was wrong?
The couple days prior to the abuse starting, he started touching me, just in the sense of like panned on my leg, lots of hugs, kissing my forehead, rubbing my hand. So there had been this kind of development of physical closeness that was happening already that felt like a father. It just felt amazing. As Michael started doing these sexual acts, he started talking to me about God brought us together. We love each other, and this is how we
love each other.
We love each other, and this is how we show each other our love.
Robson afirmou que o cantor fez com que ele acreditasse que ambos se amavam. Abre aspas. É assim que demonstramos nosso amor. Se alguém descobrir o que estamos fazendo, você e eu vamos passar o resto de nossas vidas na cadeia, e nossas vidas serão destruídas. Fecha aspas. Michael já havia sofrido denúncias de pedofilia por décadas, mas nunca foi condenado. Em 1994, ele fez um acordo para encerrar um processo na Justiça Civil. E um julgamento em 2005 o inocentou das acusações de outro caso por falta de provas. Wade Robson tinha 22 anos na época do julgamento, e deu um testemunho importante em sua defesa, dizendo que o cantor havia dormido na mesma cama, mas nunca o havia tocado de forma imprópria. Wade teve inúmeras vezes a chance de dizer que sofreu abusos, mas sempre preferiu defender o cantor de forma veemente.
Yeah, there's been different times where it just be me and Michael. Then there'll be other times where he has other friends over too. That's what, like what Brett said, it's just a slumber party. We just have a lot of fun.
Are you still friendly with Michael?
Yeah, we still talk every couple months, catch up.
You do, really?
Yeah.
Well, what's he like?
What's he like? He's a good guy.
He's a good guy?
Yeah.
Show me where he touched you. You never, nothing
Same
ever,
place he touched you, bro.
nothing ever like that? No nonsense, no shenanigans? But he's a weird guy, you have to admit, right?
You know what, at the end of the day, it's like, everybody's got something weird about him.
We covered the trial, and you were one of the few people to stick up for him. And why do you think that was? And why was it important for you to stick up for him?
Because he's always been a friend to me. That's what you do for friends, you tell the truth. I learned so much from him as an artist and as a kind human being. And it's my goal to try and just continue as much as I can in my own little world.
Mas de repente mudou a história que estava contando.
Every time we were together, it happened. There was no night that went by that I was with him that he didn't sexually abuse me.
Ele passou a dizer que somente em 2012 percebeu que havia sido abusado quando criança. Essa parece uma alegação estranha, visto que durante o julgamento em 2005, ele já era um homem adulto, e estava se discutindo em todos os meios de comunicação o quão errados seriam esses atos, e que não existiria nada natural numa relação entre um homem e um menino. Outra coisa para se considerar, é que quando o caso do menino Gavin Arvizo veio a público dias depois, Wade foi entrevistado e disse, abre aspas, eu nunca tive essa experiência e espero que isso nunca tenha acontecido com alguém. Fecha aspas. Isso me parece com a fala de um homem que entendia muito bem que uma relação sexual entre um adulto e uma criança era errada. Existe também essa alegação contraditória do motivo pelo qual ele não contou nada até 2012. Em uma versão, Michael teria dito ao garoto que ambos seriam presos se alguém descobrisse a verdade. É muito estranho pensar que ele acreditou nisso até virar adulto. Também, isso parece contradizer a alegação de que ele não sabia que era errado, pois se algo for motivo para ser preso, então deve ser algo errado. Wade Robson cresceu dentro da indústria, e graças a Michael, ele obteve uma grande carreira. Ele trabalhou com diversos artistas, inclusive Britney. Wade nunca foi um desconhecido e sempre falou muito bem do cantor em todas as ocasiões. Em 2011, algo deu errado e ele sofreu um colapso psicológico. Ele então começou a fazer terapia, mas em nenhum momento fez alegações de ter sido abusado para seu terapeuta. Ainda em 2011, com apenas 5 dias de terapia, Wade mandou um e-mail para o diretor do Cirque du Soleil, implorando para deixá-lo dirigir ou coreografar o show sobre MJ. Mas Wade não foi escolhido para ser o principal diretor do show, o que teria o deixado muito decepcionado. Em março de 2012, aproximadamente um ano após seu primeiro colapso psicológico, Wade sofreu uma segunda crise, e passou a ir a um novo terapeuta. Com 3 semanas de terapia, ele começou a fazer alegações de abuso sexual cometido pelo cantor. Segundo Wade, ele ainda não tinha conseguido lidar com a experiência que passou, e por razões pessoais, não queria se sentir responsável por mandar um homem que ele ainda amava para a cadeia. Só quando teve seu próprio filho 5 anos depois, que ele repentinamente percebeu que o cantor fazia com ele quando criança era repulsivo. De acordo com o testemunho de sua mãe, Wade também estava passando por problemas financeiros na época, e dificuldades na carreira. De repente ele percebe que ele foi abusado sexualmente quando criança, alegações que poderiam ser usadas para processar as entidades do cantor por dinheiro. A família e os herdeiros do cantor disseram que as acusações são uma tentativa patética de conseguir dinheiro fácil com o nome dele, e entraram com um processo contra os produtores da HBO.
Wade Robson was my first witness in Michael Jackson's criminal trial. I started with one of my strongest witnesses for Michael Jackson, Wade Robson. He was adamant that he had never been touched, never been molested, never been abused, directly or indirectly. I called his mother and sister as witnesses to corroborate what he said, because they traveled on these tours too. And to have him suddenly reverse course so radically, years after Michael Jackson has passed away and can't speak up for himself, is outrageous. So I don't think he has a case. I think this is a money grab, like so much of Michael Jackson's unfortunate life. Everybody seemed to have their hand out in one way or another. And I just think it's ridiculous. Safechuck I put in the same category. He didn't testify in the criminal trial, but he signed declarations. As I recall, he signed declarations, made statements that he had never been touched.
Será que as alegações contidas no documentário são realmente verdade? Será que Michael realmente molestou esses 2 homens? O documentário não apresenta grandes evidências, apenas a palavra de pessoas que disseram ter mentido antes para a família e para o tribunal. Como podemos acreditar em alguém que confessa ser um mentiroso? Em contrapartida às acusações dos 2 rapazes, existem várias pessoas que conviveram com o artista quando criança testemunhando a seu favor. O ator Corey Feldman, que foi abusado quando criança por pedófilos de Hollywood, afirma que o falecido cantor não era um deles.
All I do know is what I know. And what I know is Michael was a gentleman and he was respectful to every child that I saw him with and to me myself. So there was a group of kids and we all formed a bond. We were all friends with Michael, and I asked each one of those kids about their experiences, and every one of them told me the same thing that I experienced. All we know for a fact is that Jordan Chandler, who was the first kid that accused him, came out after his dad died and wrote an open letter and said that those stories were fake. He said it himself in his own words in an open letter. So we know that. We know that the second trial was negated and was proven to be false. He had 10 counts against him, and he was proven innocent on all 10 counts. So why are we even still talking about this? The man's dead. Every time it came up, it was resolved.
And I was 10, 11 in that time frame. And then I also continued to be friends with him for about a decade. He just had this unconditional love. He was so pure.
A lot of the general public just didn't treat him well. You know, just treated everybody with such dignity and respect and just loved everything and everybody.
Well, he was the big brother I never had, quite honestly. He was everything to me as a kid. He taught me so many things. He's taught me about loving animals, vegetarianism, animal rights, environmental issues, caring about your fans.
He was almost a metaphorical hero, and he was also a literal hero.
Metaphorically, he was almost like a father that I never had. Basically, he befriended me. He took me into his life, which is very rare for Michael to do, but he opened up his arms to me and accepted me as a very good friend of his. And throughout the years, he never let me go.
I sat there and I gave them the names. They're on record. They have all of this information, but they were scanning Michael Jackson. All they cared about was trying to find something on Michael Jackson.
Who you said, by the way, did not abuse you.
Who Michael was innocent, and that was what the interview was about with the police in 1993. I told them he is not that guy, and they said, well, maybe you just don't understand your friend. And I said, no, I know the difference between pedophiles and somebody who's not a pedophile because I've been molested. Here's the names. Go investigate.
He's always been nothing but a great friend, not just to me, to my whole family.
We grew up with him literally since he was 3 and I was 5.
He really just was so humble and then never really played off on the fact that he was, this Michael Jackson. He was just Michael. He was just our friend.
Robin, in all of these pages, hundreds of pages, many, many hours of investigation, going to the Philippines, going to Chicago, going all over the country. There's not one scrap of evidence that Michael Jackson ever harmed a child, did anything wrong, committed any crime. It's almost a vindication when you look at this. The FBI looked at all of these matters and said, there's nothing here. And I think that's the most startling thing which I've seen.
Embora não possamos saber se as informações contidas neste documentário são de fato reais, uma coisa é certa: as pessoas que realmente cometem esse crime continuam soltas, e Michael continua fazendo dinheiro para elas.